Guess that's the cost of only being human. I'm near a decade in the game, still learning like a student.
All right, welcome back to video lesson number 6. Today we're going to be talking about the different stages of trading, and I came up with 4 main stages that we're going to cover with a slide each. So let's jump right into it. And this is the second time, and this is like the third time I'm recording this video, because the first time I forgot to include some stuff. The second time the audio got messed up. So yeah. So yeah, hopefully you guys are able to take something from this, because this is kind of frustrating. But let's jump right into it. So the 4 stages of trading I came up with are: 1, discovery. Obviously, as a beginner, you're completely new. You don't know anything. You're just going to be discovering stuff. The second stage is once you kind of start developing a strategy, you start trying to find that consistency. Then once you do find that consistency, you can actually size up and start looking to make actual money. And then once you size up to a point where you're comfortable, you're making, a really good salary, you can start sophisticating, which is basically just refining what you already have that works. So let's jump right into each one and explain them a little bit better. So discovery, the first stage, obviously, you're completely new and your focus is going to be completely on learning and absorbing information, and a lot of information. And this stage is pretty tough because, stuff may seem a little bit complicated. You're looking at all these charts and you're like, what the heck is this? There's all these terms flying around like Fibonacci retracements. You're like, do I have to look at these earnings reports, learn about these companies? Like, what is this? Like, there's so much stuff to take in. On top of that, there's so many different like methods and ways to trade the markets. Like, you can trade crypto, you can trade futures, stocks. You can trade small caps, penny stocks, options, mid caps, small caps, momentum, swing trading, day trading, scalping. Like, what is all this? And really, there's 2 ways to approach all that. One, you can experiment and go through all that. That's pretty much what I did. Or you can be a little bit smarter about it, and you can find somebody that already has a strategy and kind of just learn from them, kind of take it as a mentor, because I think having a mentor is going to speed up your learning curve by a lot. And a great source for finding a mentor, or like for finding other traders to help you. And I'm not being biased or anything when I say this or exaggerating, but Nettrades is probably the best place to be for that, because there's lots of experienced traders that are willing to help you. And we do live calls. We're in the live chats the whole day. You can ask us questions and all that stuff. So that's a great way to learn. And I would say that's the best route to take, is find a mentor or people that are willing to help you and just learn from them. And there's great sources, on top of Nettrades, there's also a lot of good YouTube channels. These are very great ones that I found. For developing a strategy for a beginner, I would recommend Vincent. If you're a little bit more advanced and you want to really dive into the specifics, S&B Capital is extremely great. I couldn't recommend them more. Like, super helpful. They have literally like probably 1,000 videos or more. Tons and tons of hours of great content. They talk with great traders. The person like that's in charge, Michael Bellafiore, I think his name is. He has like 20 plus years of experience, I'm pretty sure. He's a great teacher, and there's just tons of content, so definitely check it out. And then if you want to go for trade recaps, which is kind of what I talked about having a mentor, where you get to see like their executions and like specifically why they entered a trade. These are great for that, for trade recaps. These are mostly specifically to scalping options, which is similar to how I trade. But they're still great options, and I would check them out for sure. If you want to learn about technical analysis, Fit Traders is definitely the place to be. I learned a lot from Fit Traders. What he does is he basically does, he goes over a watch list at the end of the day, like a recap of the day, and it's like his thoughts on the chart and everything. And just by watching him for so many hours, I used to watch him religiously every single day for about a year, when I was learning to now. And just by watching him and absorbing him and listening to what he has to say from his analysis on the charts, you get to learn a lot. So great source. I learned everything there, from like Fibonacci retracements, Fibonacci extensions, supply and demand, volume climaxes. Like I learned so much from him. So I would probably say he was probably one of the most influential people for my trading success. So definitely check him out. Risk management, Brian Lee is the guy to go to. He has a super unique and um, super effective strategy that he uses. It's called the R. What's it fucking called? The R compounding? No, R multiple. It's called the R multiple. The multiple. I've talked about it in previous videos before. Extremely great. If you haven't watched that video where I talk about it, check that out. But yeah, Brian Lee's the guy to go to, and I would also super highly recommend check out his Twitter. He drops gems in there. He has giant threads where he goes into specifics. He's just a great guy, and I like how he explains stuff. He's super, I guess you can say, blunt about stuff, but that's kind of the way you have to be. He's not like some kind of fake guru who is trying to impress you with his six-figure days or anything like that. Like he's a super experienced trader, knows what he's talking about, and just a great guy. So I think it's Brian Lee Trades on Twitter. Definitely check that out, and also his YouTube channel, Brian Lee. And then podcast if you're like working out or in the car driving, chat with traders, be the story, great content. Just listening to listening to great traders talk about their strategy, how they got to where they are, risk management, all that stuff, super helpful. And great stuff to check out. And on top of this, another one that I found recently is Kula Maggie. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but he's a 9-figure trader. Yes, you heard me correct, 9-figure trader. So he's trading over $100 million. He's a great trader. He has a ton of experience. He's been trading since 2011. And on Twitch, you can find him. He goes live every single day. And you can just watch his screen. He posts his positions that he's in. You can see the charts he's looking at. You can look at his technical analysis. You can listen to what he's saying live while he's trading. And you can just see him execute. And it's super undervalued. Like, look at this. This has 114 views. And it's free. And you get to watch a 9-figure trader trade right in front of you. So, yeah, definitely check it out. And what I like to do is when I'm trading, I like to, just trade myself and like not really have anything going on in the background like a live stream. I like to listen to music and just trade. But what I like to do is at the end of the day when I'm done trading, I like to go over and view the broadcast. So you can view like stuff like the live streams from the past. Like this one is from today. I've started watching it, and the ones from the previous day. So if you don't want to watch it live, you can also watch it after. And there's just hours and hours of golden stuff here. Like it's like a hidden gold mine, and I'm showing it to you guys. So definitely check it out. Really great source. Like you just get to watch him trade. It's like having him. Like I said, it's super important to have a mentor and free stuff right here. Like so, check it out for sure. So hopefully that helps out those newer guys that are in this discovery stage. In this stage, like I said, it's super important to experiment and learn how to lose. Learning how to lose is really important because as part of the game and as a beginner, you're going to struggle a lot with that. But you have to learn and accept it. And another important thing is you have to learn to distinguish between a loser that was supposed to happen and a loser that was your fault. So let me explain. So with any given strategy, no matter how good it is, it's never going to be 100% correct. Like you're not going to have a 100% winning rate. If somebody on Twitter or something tells you that they have a 100% winning rate, fucking bullshit. Okay? You're gonna take losing trades, and that's part of the game. But you have to be willing to distinguish between, okay, that was just a trade that didn't work out, but I was correct in taking that trade because it was the correct setup. Everything told me to take that trade, and that's okay if you took that trade and ended up being a loser. That's still a good trade, even if you lost money. But if you lost money on the trade because you were greedy and you chased, you got FOMO, or because you didn't cut your stop loss, or because, something that was your fault that you can correct, then that's a bad trade. That's not a good trade. That's a bad trade. And sometimes you can end up making money and it was a bad trade. So you got to be able to distinguish that. And that's super hard as a beginner because beginners, they see money. Oh, I did a good job. They lose money. Oh, I did a bad job. But that's not always necessarily the case. And that's hard to accept, but that's the truth. And that's how it works. So learn that in this stage and become a great loser because at this point in my trading career, I'm pretty much numb to losses because you have to kind of become a robot in that you can just execute and you can't let it either being a winner or loser affect your next trade. You gotta stay 60-40, which is what Fit Traders always says. And I always apply that. Stay 60-40, which basically means 60-40. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I'm not gonna go over it again. But yeah, 60-40, you gotta maintain that and not get too excited when you win or become distracted or become upset and emotional when you lose, and then that just leads to other errors. And most errors that happen are executional errors. So become a great loser. Then and I would say this stage usually lasts 6 months to a year, maybe. Like I said, if you join something like Nest Trades, that'll probably cut it in half, so you can speed that up. But that's about the time it takes. Consistency. So this is the next stage, consistency. At this point, you're going to be focusing a lot on refining, because a lot of trading is trial and error. So you're going to take a trade, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to take note of those mistakes, and you're going to fix them. Then you're going to take a new trade. But there's going to be other errors. So then you're going to fix those errors and then take a new trade. And then there's still going to be errors because you're not going to be perfect. There was a quote I read recently that said, perfection is an objective, not an end. Because we're never going to be a perfect trader. We're always going to be making mistakes, whether they're execution or we can improve our strategy. There's always going to be something to improve on. So just refine until you get to a point where you're consistent enough to make money. So your process should be clearly defined at this point. You should develop a playbook and stats to go along with it. If you don't know what that is, again, check out the Nest Trades channel, another great source to check out. I explain what that is, and I go over some examples of things that are in my playbook that I use to make money. So check that out. And at this stage, and this stage as well, discovery, obviously I think it's common sense, but you shouldn't be trading with a lot of money at this stage. You're learning how to trade, you don't know what the heck you're doing, so don't be risking thousands of dollars for no reason. Keep it small. And at this stage as well, keep it small because you're not consistent yet. So why are you going to be risking your money? Just playing options, one contract is fine. No need to go 50 contracts and YOLO on an earnings play when you're just going to end up getting IV crushed. So keep it small size. Another thing that's super, super important in this age, be introspective, journal a lot, and always look for ways to improve. Like I said, it's trial and error, and the best way to do that is journaling because that's how you're going to find your mistakes. And because a lot of mistakes are going to be due to emotions. So by journaling, you're going to be able to, better manage your emotions and be able to look back at your trading day and be able to identify, okay, this is when I let greed get me, and then that caused me to chase this play. So next time I can do this to make sure I don't get greedy, or to make sure that I can know that I got greedy and be able to manage my emotions so I don't mess up my trade. Stuff like that. Yeah, and you do that in journaling. So journaling is going to be super important. Then obviously you want to build confidence in your strategy at this stage. You do that by playbooking and getting stats. Once you get stats that say, oh, in the long run, I'm going to make money with the strategy, you start building confidence. And this stage, you don't want to advance to the next one until you have about 2 to 3 months of very solid consistency before moving on. But once you do accomplish that, we can move on to the next stage, which is sizing. Now, this stage is going to be a slow stage, and your patience is going to be tested because people want to size up and start making big money, but they're not ready for that yet. And sometimes it's hard to accept that because we see people on Twitter, oh shit, this guy just made 100 G's, bro. Like, I want to be at that point, but you're not ready for that point. So you got to take it slow. You got to first accomplish getting $1,000 a day, 2,000, then 3,000, 4, 5, 10,000, then 20,000 a day. Before you can start even thinking about 100,000 in a day. Because there is people making 100K a day. There's people making millions a day, but they didn't get there overnight. It takes time. So size up at a rate you're comfortable with, and if you start becoming inconsistent, size back down and build it up. And you're going to be humbled because, like I said, you're going to want to go fast, but that's not how it works. And sometimes you're gonna feel like, oh shit, I got it. But then you realize sizing is a whole different monster. And you don't want to become arrogant and you want to make sure you always keep a growth mindset, because the market will humble you if you don't take this stage with discipline. Very key. You got to read that again if you didn't take that in, because the market will humble you. Your little $10,000 account, it don't give a shit about that. It'll wipe you out in an hour. It'll wipe you out really fast if you don't stay humble. So respect, risk management, super important, and take it at a pace you're comfortable with, like I said. And this stage never really ends until you want it to. You know, if you're comfortable and your goal is to make $1,000 a day, then that's when your sizing ends. If you want to go big runner, hit that 8-figure trader mark, then go for it. You can do that. If you want to hit this dude's level, 100 M's, then go for it. You can do that. There's opportunity. That's why we love trading, because you can make as much money as you want, pretty much. So it's never really a stage where you stop sizing up. And more importantly, trading is an ever-evolving game where we must keep learning and adapting, because the market's going to be changing. There's different cycles in the market, and there's always something to learn. Like I said, perfection is an objective, not an end. We're never going to be a perfect trader, so there's always something to learn. And you got to stay on top of the game. Like, something I heard in a podcast and it stuck with me because it changed the game for me was the point at which we feel like we got it is the point where we lost it. And that's super true. Like, the point where we're like, oh, we got this trading thing, it's easy. And we let our guard down. We stopped studying. We stopped putting effort into it. We started going into pilot mode, like autopilot mode. And that's when you lose it. That's when you start sizing in too big, and then you take one big loss and it wipes you out. And then you're back to stay on top of the game and never think that you got it, because we don't. The market can wipe us out any day. And then obviously once you get to the point where you're heading for the 9-figure mark, then you're in the sophistication stage where you're just going to keep refining. You're going to start managing multiple positions, because there's no way that, you can, it's just more efficient to do it, because you get a point where you've sized up so much that it's not super possible to enter a trade with just one entry, because you're going to move the stock too much. So at this point, you're going to be managing multiple positions, both long and short term, even like long and short bias. So you're going to be having calls, puts at the same time. You're going to be implementing fundamentals more. You're going to be holding stocks for longer, so earnings and stuff like that matters. Things like EV sector hype is going to matter, so stuff like that. And you're going to shift more to money flow instead of momentum, because like I said, it's not possible to enter and exit trade in 5 minutes with the size you're dealing with at this stage. So those are the 4 stages. And it's important to identify and know what stage you're in, because it tells you what to focus on. And hopefully I was able to explain that and provide some resources for you guys. So yeah, if this helped you guys out, or if you enjoyed watching the video, leave a like. Helps out the Net Trades channel to keep growing and expand so new traders can find us. And if you guys want any topics or questions for me to cover in future lessons, just let me know and I'll do it. You can either do that in Discord or in the comments below. But yeah, that's about it. I'll catch you guys in the next video lesson. It's a me, Zero, and I'm out. Peace.
Spending all my time back in the basement, more concerned with living dreams and these lavish vacations. 10,000 hours in my craft, keep establishing patience. I feel empowered when I rap, this ain't average creation. This my genesis, hunger come with benefits. I'm always unsatisfied and sharpen up my penmanship. Competition with myself, ego still the nemesis.